Hello and welcome back to my video blog 3 interview with the teacher. I'm interviewing today Rosario Martinez, who is a 7-year veteran. She has worked with several ELL students in her classroom. Ms. Martinez, what type of ELLs do you have in your classroom and what challenges do they face?
So most of my EL students are Spanish speakers as their native language. Most of them have been in the States from 3 to 4 years. And at our school, we are currently phasing out our transitional program. So most of them, by the time they get to 5th grade, have mastered the English language. However, we definitely have a good 15 students every rotation that are still struggling.
It's understandable. Do you enjoy working with ELL students and why?
I mean, I definitely have a connection with EL students as a Hispanic Spanish speaker myself. I'm able to make those connections, and it's just really a lot of fun to be able to, on the side, outside of our content specific lessons, to be able to chat with them on the side, throw in my Spanish here and there. It's something where I'm able to make strong connections with them because of our shared background.
Okay. What advice do you have for future teachers of ELLs?
So I think it's important for teachers to really know where the students are coming from when they first come in order for them to be able to meet students where they're at, so that students who are really struggling don't feel overly challenged, and those students who kind of have it and just need some minimal grammar support aren't bored either. So it's being able to meet students where they're at by finding out the data initially.
Okay, so to keep them intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What do you think about linguistics, and how does this knowledge help you address language-related issues that arise in the classroom? And can you give any examples? It's a loaded question, I know.
Yeah. So as far as like linguistics, once they get into the upper grades, there's less of a focus on some of that nitty and gritty that you might see at the lower grades, in particular with the type of program that we have at our school at the 5th grade level at this point. But one of the things that students really need help with, like something that I support them with specifically with science instruction, is being able to, for example, provide cognates. So like being able to make those connections between un sólido, a solid, and being able to make those connections with their native language. Those things really being able to provide students with those lists gives them a sense of empowerment, like, hey, I already kind of know some of this basic information.
That's very good. Definitely a lot of students need that. What approaches or methods do you use in the classroom?
As a science teacher, it's all about hands-on activities, being able to connect the content, being able to see it happen. And that helps all learners. But in particular, it helps ELLs being able to connect that academic vocabulary. Additionally, I focus a lot on vocabulary development using visuals, since again, science is a very much hands-on subject. Being able to have students like be able to relate to those pictures, being able to memorize those pictures is really essential. And sometimes with some of those abstract items, like I can't really bring the solar system into the classroom, but being able to provide pictorial representations of those things using real life data images, like NASA images, really helps students.
Very good. I know one of my mentor teachers introduced me to the cube, the merge cube, and that has a solar system that pops out at you, and it's very interesting. That would be something that I would like to have in my classroom.
Yeah, and like when you're not able to use a cube, there's other augmented reality. Like you can have a flat poster on a wall, and if a student has access to like an iPad at a center, they can, like I know I have a program where they open the app, and with the augmented reality, they kind of put their iPad to that image, and they can see the water system. So they're like, oh my God, there's a cloud. And they kind of put their iPad back up. Look, it's right there. The cloud's right there. So being able to engage in that way, definitely.
That's very good. Why do you choose these? Why did you choose those methods to use? And obviously you said that they're very effective, especially with the program you have.
Well, I mean, I really focus on vocabulary development in science just because it's like the core of what they're being tested on, like ultimately, right? But I can't just keep it I don't teach the test. So it's like I kind of have to bump it up a little bit and also make it something that is meaningful to them. So being able to make those meaningful connections.
Okay. What impact has the NCLB had in your classroom?
So I think the high stake testing is something that is really what I see as a problem, because so much is dependent on one assessment. Additionally, the fact that teacher accountability is based on those assessments is sometimes a very stressful thing for teachers themselves. And I've seen a lot of teachers leave the profession because of that burnout and that pressure
Right.
without being able to have creativity in the classroom.
Right. Are the laws that focus on standards and high stake testings more beneficial or harmful? And as I've heard you say, is having a more negative effect. Was there anything else you could add to that?
I mean, I think overall, students should be able to, we should look at students and teachers in a holistic manner, and high stakes testing just doesn't do that for us.
Right. What program models, or what program model does your school have?
So when I first started at Patterson Elementary, we focused on kind of a transitioned out program where by the time they reach the 5th grade, we kind of exit them from the bilingual program. However, 3 years ago, they began the dual language program, which started in pre-kinder and currently is been moved up to 2nd grade. So this following year, we're actually adding 3rd grade. So
Okay.
kinder, first, second, third, as well as pre-K for some of the classes is dual language. So 50-50 instruction, which is actually really exciting. And so it's a big change for what our current model has been. So teachers have been adjusting. We've been moving teachers around to be able to put the teachers that are most effective in those areas who have that Spanish language and that kind of thing, that which really it's a big task for our administration.
I believe so, and it seems like a very good program. I actually have my daughter in dual language, and she's done extremely well. And I hope they continue to move it up as she goes up. Okay. Can you describe the program, its rationales, the academic and linguistic goals, the curriculum used, how English and the native language are used in a typical day for a student?
So, given the fact that we're moving into a dual language, I'll kind of focus on that. Students spend half of the day with a Spanish classroom and half of the day in English. In the Spanish classroom, they focus on reading and math. And in the English classroom, they focus again on reading, but instead of doing math, they do science and social studies. So there is, in both languages, they're getting the reading. So essentially, they're getting a double reading. But they also want to do the STEM in both languages. So half of it's in reading and half of it's in math. I mean, half of it's in one language, half of it's in the other. Sorry about that. So it's a pretty effective program. So the students are able to visit 2 different teachers. And the curriculum that they're using is being developed by the district as we go, because it's definitely something that's ever changing. They've been improving it. There's been a lot of small, like kind of intensive groups pulled by teachers. Like they've been calling teachers to come in and give them advice on their experience with the curriculum. So there's been a lot of teacher input, which has been a really good and refreshing way that the district is dealing with how they're changing the curriculum.
Definitely. What experiences do you have? Well, I think we already answered that one with high stakes testing and the impact. Okay, we've answered that one. What strategies and activities do you find most helpful in improving the students' listening, speaking, and speaking skills in English?
Well, I think in general, giving students an opportunity to do those. Oftentimes, the teacher's in the front of the classroom and students get very minimal opportunities to speak, and just including and embedding opportunities for students to speak to where they get excited and want to speak in the classroom. So whether it's like doing gallery walks or presentations, or providing them with different tools. So I know, for example, I had a few students who were always very scared to present in front of the classroom, but asked me if they could do videos instead. And I, gave them that opportunity. And with those videos, they were able to edit, re-record until they felt ready, which really helped some of those English language learners who struggled with that English when they might rehear, like they would listen to themselves and they realized that doesn't sound right. They would re-record and having those opportunities. So I think it's just embedding everyday opportunities for them to speak. If you haven't heard a child speak in a day, then something's gone wrong. You should hear every student speak every single day, which is a lot for a teacher, especially if you have 70 kids coming in and out.
Right.
So it might just be that your interaction with them is the exit ticket. Okay, at least hear them once. At least hear if they got it. Or it might be the greeting that you come in, like having them give you a vocab as they walk in. At some point, you should hear from every student. And I think that's important so that they gain confidence.
Right. I would definitely be one of those students who's be more than okay to do a YouTube video or that kind of presentation than to speak in front of a class, which is kind of interesting since I want to be a teacher and have to speak in front of students. So that's all the questions I have. Thank you for taking the time to answer them. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think it's just important for teachers to feel ready, and if they don't know, go seek a veteran. I think all the biggest and most the biggest changes that I've made in my classroom for a positive have come because I've gone to look at a veteran, and I've gone to ask for support. Oftentimes teachers are like, feel, oh my God, I have to know everything. You don't.
Right.
It's all about learning. So go in there and go look at some of those veteran teachers, ask for help, ask what are you doing, and see what helps.
Okay. Well, thank you again for taking the time to talk with me.
No problem.
This has been my video blog. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.